This is going to be a large conference today. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
We are excited. We have a full house here from all over the US and Canada and beyond. I'm Dr. Rowling, everyone. Welcome. And I see some familiar faces, names anyways, in the attendee list. I'm here today to help Kerber USA and Tom specifically with their webinar. Many of you know me from Dental CE Academy. This is our other company, Virtual Dentix Education. And I'd like to provide you with a little bit of housekeeping here. If you happen to get bumped off the webinar, just join the link that you received. It will take you right back into the conference room. For those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, there is a great drawing, but we need you to enter by using the link that we've provided on Facebook Live. It'll bring you right into our online conference room. Attendees must be here to the end of the presentation, and Michaela will explain that in just a minute. If you have any audio or video issues, just refresh your screen, or you can also call in on the number in your confirmation email. I am here today both professionally and personally. Professionally, as a dentist, you're going to hopefully learn that photobiomodulation is used in dentistry for the nervous system. We use it for analgesia. We use it to precondition areas to make injections more comfortable for our patients. We use it to help with inflammation. And so there's a very strong evidence-based science behind photobiomodulation and its use in dentistry. And for the rest of you on here who are not dentists, welcome as well. And Tom's going to address all of those possible benefits for you today. Now, my personal story, I was very ill last year with Clostridium difficile and almost lost my life and developed some complications after that infection. When I thought it was all behind me, I developed some arthritis and some neuralgia. And I used Tom's device all the time. In fact, I've talked about this in other classes. I've had it on my nightstand, and it's still on my nightstand. So if I wake up with hips that are aching, it was migrating arthralgias, I could use it very quickly, and it's a very, very safe device. Tom, I'm going to turn this over to Michaela in just a second if there's anything you want to add to what I've said here. At the end, what I'd like to do is to remind the dental audience about GMA's class coming up, or their training, because they are offering it at a promotional discount. So let me go ahead and turn that over to Michaela.
Yeah, and I'll just mention one thing. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so I've got a head cold, so I'm going to try the best I can, and been using my PBM to try and help me through this whole thing. So we'll try our best. Anyways,
you look
thank
great.
you.
You sound great. So feel great. All right.
Well, thank you, Kirsten. Thanks, Tom. Big welcome to everybody from around the world. We are so happy to have you. We have a very exciting topic to discuss with you today. I've personally been looking forward to discussing this for quite some time. So today's finally the day. For those of you who have reached out to us with any questions, and those of you who will be reaching out to us with any questions regarding the information or what happens on this webinar today, thank you so much for reaching out with your questions, and we really appreciate your patience as we get through all of the emails and to address every single thing that you'd like to know about PBM and our technology. So during our presentation today, Mr. Kerber will begin with a brief introduction about himself and his company and the mission and vision of SunPowerLED before introducing our topic of the day, which is PBM, photobiomodulation, and transcranial PBM for nervous system regulation. So also interspersed throughout the presentation will be some testimonials and an update on the recovery of a young gentleman named Caleb, who, as Tom had mentioned before, he conveniently put a pickaxe through his ankle. So we have some updates about his utilization of our devices and how he's doing now. So we're really excited to share that with you as well. Tom will then continue with a brief discussion of our product line and the differences between each device, which is very important because when you're utilizing each device, it has a specific application. And we'll also focus on some new product designs of our mini canopy before opening up the floor to some Q&A. So please save all the questions that you may have for that period of time, and then Tom will be able to answer you at that point. So note, just as a reminder, that if you stay to the end, you will be eligible to be participating in a draw that we will offer a free Palm Ultimate with a value of $2,200. So that's pretty amazing. I'd like to win that. So we'd also like to remind you that we are offering promotions that will be valid only today until midnight. For attending the seminar, all participants will receive $100 off site-wide on any purchase, which can be accessed from the banner on top of the screen that you will see. And we are also continuing to offer the 3-payment option to pay with installments. And just a quick reminder that our next webinar will be on Saturday, December 24th, 2022. And I was actually personally wondering if you guys have any ideas on what kind of topics that you'd really like us to focus on in any of the future webinars. Put it into the chat below, because I read it and I see all of it. And I'd love to know what you guys want to know about, what you want us to focus on, how our technology can be applied to any conditions that you may have. So the following is a quick bio of Mr. Kerber. So Tom Kerber is president of Kerber USA, Inc., a new company located in Buffalo, New York, that is devoted to the usage of light in medical applications. Kerber USA has been FDA registered to be able to sell PBM devices in the USA. Tom is also president of a Kerber Applied Research Incorporated, which is a research and development company in Ontario, Canada, which is a short drive from Kerber USA. He is also the founder and CTO of another company called Genesis HealthLight. This company markets a powerful and patented PBM technology that was invented by Tom over 14 years ago. Tom believes that he has been given a gift to be able to create devices that can be used for the greater good of humanity. Tom is a prolific inventor, having a few US patents, Canadian patents, with many more on the way in the area of medical devices utilizing light. Tom really, truly has gone above and beyond to help people with pain and inflammation over the years with his new development of PBM devices. So, there's one more thing that I would like to just bring up with you before I hand it over to Tom. We have a light helmet device that we have been working on developing that is almost ready for market. And we are looking at taking pre-orders right now. It will be officially launched sometime in 2023, but anyone that's interested in actually making a purchase with the light helmet, we are taking pre-orders starting now. All right, Tom, up to you.
There we go. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm glad you could join us. Just a little bit of background here. Kerber Applied Research was established in 1991. About 15 years ago, I established a new company called Illumicell. And Illumicell is a company that uses very, very high power LED technology to photoactivate a drug that kills cancer cells. And we want to see that move ahead. It's still, we're trying to raise funding and do different things so we can move that forward. Anyways, and then about 14 and a half years ago, as Michaela mentioned, I established a company called Genesis HealthLight around the whole area of photobiomodulation, and as opposed to the Illumicell using light in a drug. This is light only approach. So this happens to be one of the first devices that I developed, and this has helped a lot of people with, it's a broad spectrum light, not using LEDs, but it's pretty large and clunky, but it helped a lot of people from migraines to speeding up healing and that. And then we developed Kerber USA, SunPowerLED devices, and the whole idea was to advance LED technology for the treatment of various things using high power LED technology. So the vision of our company is to provide healing technologies to all the nations of the world. And we're committed to pushing technological boundaries with light-based devices to improve health worldwide. And it's a real desire of mine to see this be something that would help a lot of people. So I'd like to introduce now our next video, and that happens to be with a fellow by the name of Caleb. Caleb is a younger gentleman who had, as Michaela mentioned, accidentally put a pickaxe above his ankle. So we're going to go into that video right now. And
Mike, real quick.
okay.
My name is Caleb DeVries. I recently injured my foot while I was in the States. I hit it with a pickaxe while I was doing some work for a friend, and I completely severed the tendon that moved my foot up and down. I had to have 2 surgeries while I was down there, and I was very unsure of what to do. So I reached out to Tom Kerber, and he told me to get back up to Canada as fast as I could, and he'd help as much as he possibly could. So I made my way up and did that. He basically has helped with supplying treatment for
Are we having a little challenge with that
He's brought in doctors.
video
It's been
feed?
3 weeks and 2 days since the initial accident. The light that I've been using is his mini canopy light. It's been very helpful, very easy to use. It's helped with swelling. It's helped with the overall healing of the skin around it and the scarring. It's helped with pain as well. I've had basically no pain since I've been using it, and I haven't had to use pain medication at all. Even like a few days after surgery, I haven't had to take anything. Just the overall healing process of the skin around it and the tendon underneath. I'm already able to move my foot slightly. My toes are all working fine. It's been great. So I've been very grateful that he's helped me in this way.
Tom, you're back on. Do you want me to show the second Caleb?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and mute.
All right, and now we're going to introduce Fernando. Fernando is a renovator, and he will explain more about how the PBM has helped him.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fernando, and I met Tom Kerber in regards to some renovations in his office. And I approached him having a Dandy Walker syndrome, which is a cyst behind the 2 hemispheres in the brain. And he advised me to use the light for in back, and also then use on the lymph nodes to drain it, see if it helps. And what had happened was, started using it. I'm also suffering from severe tinnitus. So I just for trial started putting it on my ear, on my left ear, and I noticed that in a couple of days it actually started subsiding my tinnitus, and it hasn't cured it, but it has incredibly decreased the ringing and the terrible sounds it was making in my ear. I actually loved it so much I purchased one for my mom as well, because she also suffers from tinnitus as well. And I had a really good side effect from the light. I actually got it. I went to my sister's house, and she says, "You don't have a bag under your left eye, but you have a bag on your right eye," because I was predominantly using it on my left ear. And if you can see, I actually have no bags on my left eye, but I do have one on the right eye. So I haven't used this side to show people. In addition, it also got rid of my turkey neck. So it actually has a, and I can show you a picture of last year's picture. We can see a turkey neck. So that actually has helped my tinnitus, and it's improved my looks, which I need all the help I can get. So fantastic job, and it really helps people. Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
Hi there, my name is Diana Hastings and I'm from Kitchener, Ontario. I work for the Canadian federal government, the Correctional Service of Canada. Today I was using the SunPowerLED Palm device for my ear because I suffer from otosclerosis, which causes tinnitus in my ear. So I held the device up to my ear for 20 minutes, and when I removed the device, I noticed a significant improvement in the ringing. In fact, I could hardly notice it anymore.
Hi, everyone. I think Tom needs to reboot here for just a second. He's definitely having some delay in his video feed. So just 1 second here. Go ahead and type your questions into the chat area and be sure to go to the blue button at the top of the screen to learn more about the products. They're just setting up for the next device demonstration here. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, please be sure to type them into the chat area. There's Tom. I see he's logged back in. Tom, you're back.
Okay, I should be up.
It looks
okay. Don't know what happened there, but
you always have to be prepared. All right, we have some questions in the chat area. We'll continue to share with everybody. We did play the testimonial video after Fernando, which was on the itinerary, if you want to talk about that.
okay, so Diana came here and we were talking and we just mentioned about her background with having troubles with hearing, especially with the tinnitus. And she was able to see firsthand how that helped her. And she used the light right here. And it was interesting that I forget whether it was 10 minutes or so after she had the tinnitus definitely decrease. Then you also saw the video to do with Caleb, and Caleb was, you saw what happened to him, and I just told him, get down here as quickly as you can and get some light therapy going for that, and you could speed up the healing. That was supposed to take 6 to 9 months of healing, and you saw him walking around in 1 month. So the wound healed up very quickly, and it's still in the healing mode, and he's got to take it easy. But he has tremendously speeded up his healing process. And then you had Fernando, who he did some renovations for me here. And I said, hey, why don't you try this for the tinnitus that you have? And he did. And he was shocked to see how much it helped him on that front. Plus, he mentioned about the bag under his eye reduced quite a bit, and significantly improved his skin tone. So these are all things that are byproducts, unless you're going for that directly for the cosmetic angle of things. But PBM can help a whole host of different applications in medical, because that's what PBM does. I'll just go over to this. So PBM and the nervous system regulation. So photobiomodulation, PBM, is a simple, efficient, and cost-effective intervention for numerous conditions, as we started hearing. It has the ability to stimulate healing and regeneration of tissues. PBM has been proven to assist with and reduce inflammation, and PBM also repairs damaged cells and can help prevent neurological degeneration. It does so not only by lowering inflammation, but also by reducing reducing oxidative stress, and enhance the body between an antioxidant and free radicals that cause damage to our cells and plays a role in the aging process. The energy emitted from the LEDs triggers photochemical changes on the cellular level. Just give me 1 second. I'm just fixing one thing here that make it a lot easier for me. Thank you. Okay. So the energy emitted from the LEDs triggers photochemical changes on a cellular level, especially within the mitochondria. When this application is used on the brain, transcranial is often tacked on as the term. So transcranial PBM. Okay. So transcranial PBM is used on individuals enduring Alzheimer's, just one split second here, Parkinson's disease, those suffering from the effects of stroke, global ischemia, or the traumatic brain injury, or dealing with psychiatric disorders such as depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. It's just absolutely fantastic to see what a wide range of things can be helped by light. So there's a publication called Ray's Marks publication, Photomodulation, Depression, Anxiety, and Cognition have found that, and here you go. Just listen to what it can all do. Transcranial photobiomodulation. It can improve the neuron metabolic capacity, reduce oxidative stress, neurological inflammation, and cell death associated with depression, improves mitochondrial dysfunction, improves neurogenesis, and the ability to regulate nerves and neurons, increase blood flow to the brain, augment cerebral energy metabolism, a contributing factor to depressive manifestations, positively impact neurotransmitter abnormalities, provide pain relief associated with depressive states, improve brain activity functions, and this may even help reduce depression and anxiety states. It's really cool as well. We found with people with severe headaches or migraines, we've been able to see those improve. So enhance the effects of cognitive training approaches and improve oral cognitive function. That's a whole pile of stuff that it can help pretty easily. Okay. Okay. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Okay. In Alzheimer's disease, impairment in memory is one of the first symptoms observed. And there's a study, and all these studies, by the way, when you get back, you will be able to find links on our website to these studies. So I'm just going to give you some highlights of it. So this one study, and that was done in 2004, default mode network, comprises of specific areas of the brain that is an important anatomical target for treatment during due to its role in the development of Alzheimer's. Targeting it with transcranial photobiomodulation is a non-invasive option that is being studied. So that's one study. Another study on Alzheimer patients by Dr. Linda Chow demonstrated some of the benefits which presented post-treatment improvements in Alzheimer's disease scores, increased cerebral perfusion, and increased connectivity. And that's Chow 2019. So we will have these studies linked. So scientists found that there's all sorts of really good reasons why this does what it does, and I'll just leave it at that. There's just a host of it's basically getting rid of free radicals, dampening inflammation, and there's a whole host of mechanisms that are involved in Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's, and it's great to see how this can help. So another study on Alzheimer's demonstrated that genetically engineered Alzheimer's in mice, with reduced amyloid beta after TBM, with the lights pulsing at 40 hertz, gamma frequency. And amyloid beta is the main component of the amyloid plaques found in brains of subjects with Alzheimer's disease. Notably, the researchers did not see the same effect with other pulse frequencies. So there's something to this as well, as far as the possibilities of pulsing the light. According to reports, it may take 30 sessions before photobiomodulation takes full effect. And note that you'll start experiencing pain relief after the first few sessions. The other thing we found is that some of these results can happen fairly quickly, as we saw in one case where one young man had a concussion. Young boy, 10 years old, and he was seeing double, and as after very bad, and he had a cap on one eye. So he, anyways, with his situation, by the second treatment, 2 days later, he was not seeing double anymore. So sometimes some of these things can happen pretty quickly. So it really does matter how much exposure of light you have. This is why we believe we have the success that we will be able to have in the upcoming days, because it's based on, and it's also based on the individual and a whole pile of other corresponding factors. Healing and improving health is a holistic process that involves many factors. So it's not just PBM, but you need to do everything you can. And PBM is definitely one of those things that can help. Anyway, another study found that transcranial photobiomodulation delivered to mice with traumatic brain injuries changed outcomes as opposed to the placebo group. The study found that beneficial effects on cognitive function were statistically better with a 10 hertz than they were with either continuous wave or 100 hertz. So there is something to this whole thing about the certain frequencies of certain pulsing frequencies of light. In the last last decades, there have been increasing cases of inner ear disorders, and you heard some of them today. And among them is included hearing loss, tinnitus, vertigo, and PBM is highly targeted treatment due to its non-invasive nature. Just imagine that you just put the light external on the area, and it's helping internally what's going on. And we have, with our device, we have the light technology, the light power that can actually reach to the inner ear and other areas that are needed for the treatment. PBM is definitely one of those things that produces positive results in effectiveness of treatment of hearing problems. So we can see how powerful this technology is for promoting optimal brain function and performance. Okay, just 1 second. Let's get rid of this. Oh, I don't know why. Okay. We would like to highlight one more that is the result of improving brain cell function is increased cellular energy, enhanced cellular signaling and communication, more efficient cellular waste removal, decreased oxidative stress, and less inflammation. It supports cellular repair and regeneration. By improving these functions, you are creating an environment conducive to your own healing. Okay, so I want to just discuss a little bit about the products. So what makes us different is that we have a very large light array here. So it's a very large area, and the light power behind us. Now this happens to be the ultimate device, and this is the 660 nanometer, which is a light that is beneficial more. It doesn't penetrate as deep as the 1050, but the purpose of this is that it has a systemic effect. The other wavelength that this device has when you switch the switch is 10 nanometer on the ultimate. As you can see it here a little bit, I can see a little bit better with my eyes, but that actually penetrates much deeper. And we have a considerable amount of power. And as a matter of fact, our optical power is well over 150 milliwatts per square centimeter in the area. So that's why over this entire area. And area helps for penetration depth. So that's our ultimate. This happens to be our the newest device that we've developed. This has the 660 nanometer as well, just like the ultimate. But instead of the 810 nanometer, we actually have 1050 nanometer. Now, these little LEDs look like nothing right now, but they're totally invisible. But it has a considerable amount of light power that's coming out of there. And so that has the ability to penetrate even deeper than the 810 because there's less losses. We also have the device that's the classic. That was our original device, and it's a much lower product price, but it also has much lower power. But for those that want to get started on something, that's also a possibility. I want to remind people to go and click on the banner to go to the website and to look at, to go right in and get more information. And there's a lot of information under the more, and you'll see resources. I also want to show you our mini canopy here. This device, as you can see, is a very large area. It is equivalent of 15 of the Palm devices. So it covers a very large area, plus the amount of optical power that this device has is such that, okay, as you can see, it does a nice large area. That happens to be the 660 nanometer, and this is the 10 nanometer. And right now we're offering this device for $5,950. And the big thing about what we've done with this device is we have a very large, a high level of power, optical power, but we've been able to do that because I have patent pendings on how I'm getting rid of this heat. Otherwise, this device would be a great big bulky thing and weigh a ton, and you wouldn't be able to use it as easy as you can in this situation. I've also developed, I'm just going to bring this over, a helmet. So the helmet is, this just goes up and then goes down on top of the patient like that. And now I'm going to just tilt this back a little bit. There we go. So you can see a little bit inside. But what happens here is, let's see, I just got to get my finger around there. There's the 660 nanometer. If somebody wants to use the 660 nanometer more for surface stuff, it could be a real short treatment, but increase the blood flow. And this is the 810 nanometer that penetrates much deeper. And so it just sits over your head, and it's like those old hair dryers. So you just pull this down and put it right on top of the head. This is a new development for us, and we're working through things with the research with different universities. In particular, we're working with a university in West Virginia, and they're looking at all the whole area of using light for opiates, opioid reduction, because people can be benefited by using the light. Anyways, I'll just turn that off, move that out of the way there. So there we go. There we go. Okay, there we go. I'll just slide that out of the way. Anyways, So we've developed these devices, and we're working with various researchers. We're also looking at coming up with another researcher in California, and that has to do with chemo brain. So these are the type of areas that light can help the brain. And I think and now what we'll do is go to question and answers. And so if you'd like to pose questions to us, one question from, we're just going to go up here. Hi, Kirsten.
Hey, Tom.
Kirsten has been absolutely fantastic in helping us put this all together. And yeah, there's always a little technical, or not always, there's once in a while technical things just crop in, and just a known
there are
thing,
hiccups.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways.
Do you see all your questions, Tom? Do you want me to help you with those, or do you see
Yeah,
them?
I would like to. We're just scrolling down.
Okay.
Oh, and I wanted to answer one question. And I'll get into another. We're going to look at another lecture, or part of a lecture, talking about it. But there's been a lot of questions about how safe is this around the eyes. And I will say that dentists, they need to use the protective glasses for the patient and for in their office, for themselves and for the patient. And I'll just say the safety of this, to give you a perspective, there's studies out there that show that the amount the light that very safely that the back of the eye can endure is twice the light power what you can absorb on your skin. Is interesting enough, probably because of the fluid flow, but that's what they found. And when you're out in the sun, you have 100 milliwatts per square centimeter coming down on you. And yes, you have a lot of different wavelengths. You have even the blue and the ultraviolet and your energy spectrum. But I'll go into great depth on that at another time. But the 100 milliwatts, is what's coming from the sun. And what they're basically saying is that you could easily take 3 times that amount to your skin. So, and they're saying that safety factor is 20 times that level. So we're right, we're only at 100 to 200 milliwatts, and they're saying up to 2,000 milliwatts of power could be taken for up to 10 seconds. So the whole thing means that basically this is safer around using for your sinuses, for your hearing, different areas of the body. But to wear some glasses, some of the glasses that we can provide, gives you a comfort level, and it just is not as bright on your eyes. But if there was difficulty with our light, you would have every sunbather blind by now. So it's not, this is very, very safe. And I just want to say that we're offering a 2-year warranty on our devices, extended as an additional Christmas time, just so that you guys know that this is a very reliable product. The LEDs in here are good for 50,000 hours. So that'll get you the next 25 years at 2,000 hours a year. So anyways, now we got some questions. Which device for the tinnitus? And my recommendation is either the professional or the ultimate or the super pump. Any one of those 3 would be ideal. Okay, Kirsten, would you like to answer?
There's just a comment here from Joe Dean in Alaska that they were the first recipient of the 1050 in Alaska. They got a handwritten note from you. So I did want to make that comment because I said earlier, I said, Alaska, I bet it's cold. And we have folks from everywhere. We have someone from Molokai, the island of Molokai, which I did get to spend a couple of weeks with the public health department there years ago. So you have like an array of topography on this webinar today. Let's look at some of these other questions here. Lots of questions about tinnitus and eye protection. Because you're located in Canada, Tom, please explain all of the acceptable methods of payment with your company for those of us from the US.
They would just go online because it has to be ordered through the US website.
Okay. So if they tap on the banner at the top of the screen, they're okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's where they would go. Yes. So
we have that link in the handout or in the chat area too.
Yeah. Can it be used on the eyes if the eyes are closed? And I'm just going to use high caution around that. But again, I want to go into that in bigger detail in a later podcast.
Okay. Questions about accessories for the 1050. This is from Janet. Where can they be seen and bought?
Oh, okay. So accessories, one of the accessories, as a matter of fact, for the 1050 or any of the devices, we have this new stand that just the device clips into, and you can see there's you can't see the whole stand, but that's something that we provide so that you could put it wherever you want on your body and make it very easy for treatment. So that's that device. We also have special orders of those in the dental field. We have a fiber optical probe. So this allows us to just snaps into the device, and this allows you to treat inside the mouth right on specific spots. When we're talking on outside of the body, even though you have a spot, there's no reason why if you had a finger, you don't need that device for working on your finger. You just put your whole hand under the light source.
And that intraoral attachment is great because you can reach areas. It's an attachment similar to your curing lights. So you're able to turn it and reach, upper right quadrant, etc. So if you're preconditioning for injections, etc., it's terrific. Xerostomia. Question here from Madhukar Patel. Does it work on varicose veins in the leg?
Yeah, I think that's something. Some of these conditions, they take a very long time to treat. It's possible to at least stall it from happening, or in better cases, you can see a very slow healing effect. Definitely for skin, for circulation, varicose, ulcerated leg wounds, whether they be from diabetics or venous wound ulcers. I also want to say too, not only can it treat all these things, but remember at your practice, if you're one of the dentists out there, this can help your practice quite a bit because it can also keep your staff all healthy. So they don't have to take time off at work for their carpal tunnel or neck pain or other things, and have a happy, having a happy staff is a good thing. And
I would have a panel. I'd have the panel in my staff area. Everybody could sit in front of the panel and treat their back, shoulders, neck.
So this is something that, I've heard some dentists helping their patients, even with one particular dentist, let them use while they're doing their work. You're always trying to keep the patient distracted from what you're doing. So have them treat, if they have tendinitis, have them treat themselves for tendinitis while they're there, and it gets their mind off. And not only that, it really does help. It's pretty neat. Now, does it help everybody? Probably not, because there's such a wide range of issues, but it does seem to help quite a number of people from what we're seeing.
How about Tom from Jennifer asking, does this help for individuals with metal cages in their back, fused spinal cords, diabetic neuropathy, and osteoarthritis? Wow, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a half an hour response right there. Okay, so as far as metal in the body, it doesn't heat up the metal. It doesn't cause any issues. There's people with screws, with bolts, with metal plates, and it doesn't do anything. But what it to the metal itself, it doesn't heat it up. But what it does do is it really helps reduce the inflammation around those areas, and that is tremendously helpful. And as far as diabetic neuropathy, for sure, that's an area that there's a lot of research out there that shows how it can help for diabetic neuropathy. And osteoarthritis is an area as I said, on our website, under the More tab, there's resources, and you can find that there's a lot of good links there for that.
And you have a webinar from a couple of weeks ago, Tom, on arthritis with Dr. Ross. You've recorded, right? So they could listen to that webinar.
Exactly. If they want to go back in some of the other seminars, we cover some of these things in more depth from one of the dentists. So definitely. Please visit our website. Also, There's a Facebook page too, where more questions can come out. We welcome your emails. And by the way, this being the Christmas time, what better gift that doesn't stop giving is one of these devices, because it's, for those that are in your family, that your seniors that are dealing with pain every day, I mean, why throw it away on some of those fruitless devices out there when you could buy a device that will make a big difference in their pain and reduce their pain, and they'll be forever thankful for what you've done for them. So I want to recommend, this is a pretty neat Christmas gift.
It is. There's a question, speaking of aging, but also skin. So if you want to give the gift of beauty and roll back age a little bit, that's also a great application. Question from Deborah here. Does this help with contact dermatitis?
I'm not certain of what other than dermatitis being a skin condition. It helps with a lot of different kinds of skin conditions. So I'm not sure about that one in particular. What happens is the light from the energy from that light goes into the skin very easily, and gives the cells energy. And usually if the cells are not depleted with the energy that they need, they start cleaning up and they do all sorts of things that they need to do. And that's how, how things improve.
There's quite a bit of science out there on skin treatment and photobiomodulation. Sherry makes a comment here. I can attest that the palm does help with skin conditions. I have severe eczema. It's clearing it up. Make certain to use it as directed twice daily. I haven't been as diligent, and it's still working. So yeah, Tom has quite a bit of research on his website too. So
yeah, and I would recommend, when you're using this device, you eat 3 times a day. So why don't you feed your cells 3 times a day with energy in these areas? So if you don't have 3 times a day, do it twice. But doing it 2 or 3 times is better than one long marathon at night. But if that's all you can do, well, but try and get 2-3 treatments. You can really move that along.
Question here about the cost of the transcranial helmet. Should they reach out to you directly, Tom?
Yes, please, because then there's different options. There is the possibility that we can look at pulsing. And so we just have to go through the scenarios, and we can talk about that. Yes.
Comment from Nicole. My husband's dentist let us borrow the Palm Professional HPD 8 for the mouth. He's currently on chemo radiation for salivary gland cancer. What's the new device that you recommend?
Okay, the Palm Professional is a great device, no doubt about it. The Ultimate has a little more power, so it can do things a little faster. And then we feel that when it comes to penetration, the Super Palm is our new kid on the block that gives us a little better penetration, yet beyond what the Ultimate can do. But any one of those 3 devices has the possibility of improving saliva flow. And one thing about that, though, is if the chemo radiation is totally damaged, totally destroyed the salivary, the gland, then it's possibly not going to help. But when there's something left, the body knows how to regrow some of these areas, so it can improve that.
And with chemo, we're concerned about oral mucositis. And one of the indications for photobiomodulation is the treatment or prevention, in some cases, of oral mucositis. And if you are a dentist, this is another great reason for you to take the course with GMA Laser Education, which we'll talk about here towards the end, because Dr. Ross, Dr. Birchman, and Dr. Darbar go through this treatment extensively. Okay, let's see here, Tom.
Okay, there's a question from Kathy. Does it help?
Yes.
So this is the whole area, new area that is showing. So any one of the 3 devices, the Professional, Ultimate, or the Super Palm 1050, and that a person can spend a lot of time then treating different areas of the brain. But then if one wants to do it a lot quicker, that helmet can do it in 3 minutes, deliver the dose that would be preferential for that treatment. But I mean, these devices can help. So.
And that was a question about dementia as a subclass of Alzheimer's. So the helmet it's wild, Tom.
It's 10 of these palm lights.
I know. It's amazing. Yeah.
It looks a little spacey, but hey, we're going to put some racing stripes on there, and then eventually we can charge twice as much for it because it looks fancy.
That's right.
But for now, you're getting the raw deal, the deal of what makes it happen, what can help. Do you need all the racing stripes? Well, I guess that depends what you want to do with it. But.
Deborah states, I need this in my life. Why isn't this used more in the medical dental field? I can tell you in the dental field, many of you, we did a survey. Gosh, it's been about 1.5 years ago. I did it just because I was curious why there seemed to be some challenge in getting dentists to understand more. And many of you did not know about photobiomodulation. You had heard about low-level laser. You had heard about red light. But the term is photobiomodulation, and this is using LEDs, so you don't need a laser. So you can have an LED in every operatory, just like a curing light, and you'll use it all day long. You'll find out. You'll be wondering why you didn't have these devices before, this training before.
Question from Kimberly asking, how does this differ from other units on Amazon? One of the big key things is that you can travel, 100 miles by a moped, or you can travel 100 miles by a Toyota Corolla. Which will get you there quicker? And I can tell you that that's basically what we're looking with our light. We have a considerable amount of power. And again, this is a very even illumination. Whereas because of the way we're doing things, we're not putting special lenses on here. And I have all the optical equipment to measure this stuff. So we know that we're providing a very high amount of light fluence over the whole area. And that is something that makes the difference. So if I turn this on here, you can see the whole area is very even illumination. That's the unit there, okay? And it's the whole area is super even illumination at this very high level. Now there's some toys out there that they'll say, oh, they give out 150 milliwatts per square centimeter, and it's a little pencil of light. I can tell you the little pencil of light will take you forever if it even makes a difference in your life. And it's not worth the postage to buy it. So you need to buy stuff that we've got an FDA registration on this device, and we're really trying to make a product here that can go very deep. So there's lasers out there, and you can spend a lot more on lasers. As some of the dentists, okay, let me just go up a bit. So you can spend 10 times that amount on lasers and still not have the light power that we have. So you can easily spend $20,000, $30,000 for these devices or more, and you still don't have the light power that we have. So we're doing it with LEDs, and you wouldn't use lasers to light up a stadium, but a football stadium. But now these days, LEDs have come to the forefront. You light your room with it. You light an entire stadium, football stadium, and that's because of the power that is possible. But with that power comes a lot of cooling, and we figured out a way to make this thing super light. That's part of our patent, how to make this thing super light, and at the same time keep these LEDs very happy so they'll last a very long time for you. Here's a question from Lyle. I've been using the one laser, healing laser, that is 660, 875, 905 at 15,000 milliwatts. So that's 15 watts of power. So I am a dentist, and I've been using this for 15 years. I've used it for every type of dental surgery. I've completed and eliminated the use of narcotics in my practice, and I do a lot of surgeries, extractions, sinus lifts, and implants, etc. So this, I mean, there's a dentist that knows how PBM can make a difference. The only difference between his machine and the machine we have is this now can be afforded at the public level. You don't have to be a dentist and have a large practice to be able to afford one of these devices. You can take this device and use it at home instead of going somewhere else to get light treatment for $75 an hour or $75 a treatment or $100 a treatment. You don't have to drive out of your house to drive away from your house. And it's not only now, this will be able to be used for years for any type of burns, cuts, and that kind of thing. So,
does this help? Problem.
Yep.
Opioids are a problem. In fact, Kerber USA sponsors the opioid course that I present each month. And the last 10 minutes, we talk about alternative modalities, non-pharmacological modalities. And photobiomodulation is what I talk about because it's really the only tool we have in our toolkit outside of ice packs and a couple of other mundane things. This is, again, evidence-based. So you can heal or prevent dry sockets and so much more, improve implant osseointegration, your full bony extractions. Your patients don't need to take opioids if you're using photobiomodulation. And Dr. Ross, who I see is attending today, he is in Canada, and he's one of the instructors for GMA for the comprehensive training. And he will tell you he's not prescribed opioids for the last 10 years of his practice. And he treats a lot of TMD patients that are high-risk patients you would consider refractory patients, and he uses photobiomodulation. Question about Parkinson's.
Yeah, again, there's research pointing to the fact that this can help many different kinds of mental disorders or mental diseases. And it's a case of researching it, getting comfortable with what you're learning, and then seeing what device you want to look at to try and help the situation. Another question went out is from Mrs. Goose. On the Palm Classic, which are the two wavelength options? The Palm Classic, in order to keep the cost as low as possible, we have only one wavelength out of this device, and that's the 660 nanometer. And so all the other ones have the dual wavelength that you can switch between. Okay, another good question here is, Sherry, what's the best method to clean this device? You can use rubbing alcohol as a great cleaner, doesn't harm the plastic. For tinnitus, it's just placed over the ear. Yeah, sorry, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley, for that question. And Lyle is, I am a dentist, and the laser is against the skin. So you do not have laser aiming at your eyes. Yeah, so the thing about this with, again, with lasers is that the safety factor is really high using our devices because it's not a point source of light that stays as a point source of light. The other thing is you don't have to, if you're trying to treat multiple areas, different muscles, you don't have to point and hit each one perfectly to get the effect. This is doing the whole area in one shot. So that saves time instead of spending 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, 10 seconds there. And you can do the whole area in one shot. So that's another thing. Does it help with dental infections in the bone? Michaela, would you like to speak to that? Oh, sorry, Kirsten.
Michaela could answer that, but so photobiomodulation does not treat infection per se. It treats inflammation. So if you have osteomyelitis, let's say, and that's from inflammation as well, yes, it will, right? So photobiomodulation, Dr. Birchman will tell you, you can't kill bacteria with it. But be advised that many of your patients that come into you with pain don't necessarily have infection. They have inflammation, right? So that's where photobiomodulation can be used. Now, if they do have an infection and you need to extract, you're still going to be able to use photobiomodulation because you can precondition the area, inject them, extract the tooth, and then do post treatment with PBM, even the TMJ, so that they don't go home with any sort of trismus and so forth. So that's my long answer to this short question.
Okay, yes, there's a link. Some person asked about Facebook. There's a link on our site to the Facebook, so please go there. Also, I'm sorry, I'm just having a senior moment here.
Time to get out the helmet, Tom.
I think we got to pull it out and start using it. Yeah, I was just going to say on the mini canopy, this has the 2 wavelengths as well. So what you're not seeing very well right now because of the camera is that there's the 810 nanometer in the background. The 660 is quite obvious, but there's the 2 wavelengths on that device. Is there an age minimum for the treatment of body and head? Thank you, Janet, for your question here. I'm not sure. You'd have to look into your state regulations because it's state by state, and I think even there's some variation amongst counties. Is there not, Kirsten?
I think they're talking about
as far as variation,
age minimum for the patient. So could you use it on an infant? I'm not sure in terms of, Yeah,
you'd have to check. Oh, by the way, this was really fun. Is we had an individual that had their father was looking at the leg amputation because of the toes turning black and things happening, and a lot of them, the family just thought, oh, this is just voodoo. This is quackery and everything, until the person got all the research material, brought it with them in their first big meeting with the doctor, gave it to the doctor, and the doctor says, absolutely, PBM helps. And then said, I'm in one of these studies.
Oh, really? Yes. So to Janet, I mean, Janet's question here, if it's related to dentistry, because I recognize her name, it's used in pediatric dentistry all the time. In fact, I believe it was Dr. Ross that did sort of an informal study where they were able to use PBM instead of injections for children, right, to perform, restorative care. So it is used in pediatric dentistry in dental applications. I think we have a question here about the intraoral probe. Did you see that one, Tom, from Dr. Dobeck?
Just hold it there. Yeah, so there is the intraoral probe, and it, as I mentioned, just snaps into the device, and we can make sure we get it to those dentists that are requesting it.
Okay. His question is about how long does it take you to get to 4 joules per centimeter squared using the Palm Ultimate?
About 20. It depends on the device. There's different devices, but anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. And we have a guide that we send out for that. Now, does it help with nerve damage? Interesting enough, oops, I better leave my glasses on. It doesn't look as bad. I got this head cold and it's just driving me nuts. Anyways, can it help with nerve damage? And there's a recent study that says how it can help with Bell's palsy and how fast it can help the nerve regenerate and grow back. And so it's very possible that it's not just for Bell's palsy, but other nerves as well. And there's a rat study that was done on spinal nerve damage and how they were able to see that it could help on that as well. So there's research out there. One needs to do their research first, and there's lots of research at our site. But we are offering the $100 discount across all our products right now as a Christmas special. And also, I mentioned just tap the button on the top of your screen, and you can go right to our website. And there's a lot of information. There's also you can go back and watch other videos that we have. I will mention as well, as I mentioned, the mini canopy is $5,950. That's usually a device that's north of $9,000 US. So $5,950 is quite a significant savings. It's a beautiful device because it's the area of 15 palm units, but it's got the power. So, and coming back to that one question, what about comparing it to some of the stuff on Amazon? Well, the problem with stuff on Amazon is if you just hit it right, you might get 150 milliwatts per square centimeter here. And if you just got it right, you'd get 150 milliwatts per square centimeter here on their devices. And if you went in between, you might get 50 milliwatts, and then you get 100, and then you might get 50, and then 10, and then 150. This is continuous 150 milliwatts per square centimeter across this entire area. So it doesn't matter where you put the measurement probe, you're getting a very even high amount of illumination, which helps for the depth that you're trying to go into.
Tom, I wanted to make one comment about I believe it was a neuralgia question. In dentistry, it is used for trigeminal neuralgia and some atypical neuralgias. And Dr. Darbar, who is part of the GMA laser education company that we'll talk about here, he presents that particular module of that course. So he will talk about trigeminal neuralgia and so forth. So it is something that is used in the dental world. We had a couple more questions float in here, Tom. You're on a roll.
Okay.
So question about, I guess, for children, autism. And I know there's quite a bit of research going on about that in terms of photobiomodulation.
I will just leave it there, that there's research going on and we need to learn more. And as I mentioned, that there's a 95, as you mentioned, 95% of the dentists and doctors, I don't even know if it's 95%, it's probably 97% or 98% of doctors have no clue about PBM. And it's very, very unfortunate because it could really help help a lot of people, but it also doesn't come with a daily dose of going to the pharmacy. So it's not as welcome in some areas. Let's leave it at that.
Let's see here. Stroke recovery. Do you have any information about that?
Yes, strokes have also been shown to be beneficial. As a matter of fact, one of the individuals that I'm a close friend of mine, he's 82 years old, and he had this past year a stroke on Good Friday. And it was about 2 months later, and I had talked to him. He was in the hospital for a bit. He came out and he spoke with a very strong slur that made it almost impossible, if not impossible, on the phone to understand what he was saying. As well, he had difficulty with his walk. And I finally convinced him to take some time. He was not fearful about the technology, but just taking the time to come drive across the city for 20 minutes and give it a try. So he finally did. And the day before, I could barely understand him on the phone. And the next day, after the treatment, I could understand him clearly. That's how, and that was only a 4-minute treatment. So, and does everybody respond that well? No, but I mean, in his case, this is what happened. A concussion. The kid went totally back to normal after throwing up, after seeing double, and also headaches. After 3 treatments, he was a normal kid, and that took place over the course of a week. So there's a lot of evidence coming out that this could be very beneficial to not only strokes, but and there's other rat studies and things that one can dig into, but also the whole area of concussions and dementia. And my hope is this new study that'll come out. Well, it's not going to come out yet. It's got to go through the trial, but will be specifically with my helmet and ChemoBrain. And we're hoping that we can show how much of a benefit this can be for those that are experiencing difficulty in thinking and processing after they're getting their chemotherapy treatments.
Tom, any research that you know of, excuse me, on long COVID? Because there's long COVID brain too.
Yeah. They said that's a natural parallel. The two are so close together that if they prove one, the other one's going to be proven as well.
Exactly.
That it will help with the brain. As a matter of fact, I had severe COVID. I had double lung pneumonia, and I was in bad shape. I had my blood oxygen was 80%. I was not thinking clearly. And I was going through a lot of the things that, same as ChemoBrain, as far as I couldn't think clearly. I couldn't, my whole life as an engineer and designer is looking at a page of numbers and seeing the graph before you even plot it. And I couldn't even add 3 numbers together if I tried. Took me a whole day to process and complete a simple quotation. I was so mentally challenged, and one of the researchers and medical doctors in West Virginia at the PBM Foundation, when I was talking to him, he says, "Tom, what are you doing? You're treating your lungs, and you're seeing." I was using this device here for treating my lungs, so I very quickly improved my lung conditions. As a matter of fact, in 2.5 weeks, my lungs, my second set of x-rays showed that my lungs were phenomenally improved over 2.5 weeks by using this guy behind me 3 times a day, front and back. And he's, I was treating my lungs, but I still couldn't think properly. I couldn't process things properly. I've got 99% of it back, so I'm very thankful on the processing part. Once in a while I'll screw up. But he says, "What are you doing for treating your brain with the PBM?" And it was like my brain was not processing to think that I should be using the light on my brain. So immediately,
I can totally relate to that. Yeah.
So I immediately started treating myself first with this. And it was shortly thereafter that I developed the helmet, because I thought, I want my brain back. And so I used the helmet as well. And so I was able to see myself pretty much fully recovered. Now, I don't know, if you ask my wife, she might still think I'm a little deficient in certain areas.
I also wanted to mention that Dr. Birchman with GMA, the M in GMA, published a study that case that he had of a Parkinson's patient that ordinarily he would have had difficulty treating in the dental chair, but he was able to manage the patient's tremors while they were there. And for, I think, an hour after the visit by using photobiomodulation. So that's something that he discusses in the comprehensive training. So it can be applied to special patient, care as well, or patients that have some sort of compromised state.
Okay, we got to get into the draw.
Yep.
We're going to have the draw very shortly here. So you need to get back to us. Well, I want to congratulate on the Super Palm 1050, the giveaway, to Rebecca Mirando. Rebecca, congratulations. I hope it helps you for you and your family and those you love. So congratulations, Rebecca. But now, Rebecca, you got to reach out to us back on the chat so I know you're there, okay? Because only people that have stood in to listen to the entire broadcast or webinar will be able to win. So Rebecca, I hope you're out there. If not, we will be pulling another name in a moment. Okay, we got more questions just while we're waiting for a minute to confirm, and then we're going to be signing out very shortly here. And if Rebecca, if you're not there, I'm sorry. You have to be there for receiving this. And let's go on to another question or two.
I just private DM'd her and she is here. So have her respond. Rebecca Miranda, you are the winner. We need to know that you're here. So let us know by typing in the chat area.
It's a $2,200 device, so you better have listened to this point.
She is here and she's excited. I'm excited for you. There she is.
Oh, excellent.
All right.
All right. Okay. So the giveaway is to Rebecca. Rebecca, congratulations. Okay. Do we have two more questions maybe, and then we'll call it a day. And by the way, we want to mention, tap on the button on the top banner to go to our website and learn more. And also we're saying that, and I'm just going to say that we're going to extend the $100 off till Monday evening. Midnight, Monday evening, Pacific time. So we want to present that to you, that you can get that additional $100 off any one of the devices, except for the mini canopy, as we've given that all we can with the $5,950 cost.
Tom, there's a question here from Karen. Why don't you list your prices so we can make an educated decision? I don't think she saw the banner at the top of the screen.
Yes, she needs to go there, and then she can also, when she goes there, she'll go to SunPowerLED.com.
Yeah. If
by chance you got into one of our older websites, I'm sorry about that. We still have it up. We're going to change shortly. It's Kerber USA, but let's go to the SunPowerLED. It does give you the different prices on the website for the different devices. So I'll just mention it quickly, just for you that are asking. So the Palm Classic is now all of these you would reduce $100. Palm Classic is $650, so minus the $100, $550. The Palm Professional usually is with the is $1,300. Sorry, $975, and right now it's $875. The Palm Ultimate is $1,300, and right now for $1,200. And the Super Palm 1050 is $1,900, and right now up until Monday evening, with all these devices till Monday evening midnight, is $100 less. So it'd be the Super Palm would be $1,800.
I've just put the spec sheet in the chat area so you can download it. And again, go to the website. Tom has everything broken down and detailed with the pricing. Obviously, it's a lot of information to try to put on one screen. So, but it's there.
Yeah. And I'll just say too that somebody was asking, does it cause freckles when used on the skin? No, it's the neat part about it. It does a lot of good things as far as, but the FDA has found that these light devices have a negative of side effects. Like there's pretty much zero side effects. So on this kind of device, as opposed to every one of the drugs that you might use to compensate for arthritic pain, or that. This is a great way to get rid of that arthritic pain, reduce that inflammation, and hopefully be able to reduce someday the drug intake that you have.
Tom, anything you want to say here while we close out?
Well, it's been a goal of mine to see this technology being able to be used around the world. And I really believe I've been given a task, a challenge, that this light could help a lot of people. And I believe it's something that God has dropped on my mind and heart to try and accomplish. And I just appreciate all those people that, first of all, believed in me with these devices, but now see firsthand how much of a benefit it can be in their own lives. So it's pretty neat to be a part of that, to see how it can help people that have no hope in some of these areas. I had one text come a while ago that came in that said, first time in 20 years being headache free. Another person being able to be seizure free for 16 months. Well, now it'll be about 18 months now. So these kinds of things are absolutely beautiful to hear. And the funniest one is this mini canopy. The marketing agent that we use, he brought it home to take the special shots that we have on our as you see behind me. So he was doing the special pictures and that, and his wife decided to use it on herself, on her back pain that she was experiencing. Now the couple had been trying for 5 years for pregnancy. Well, she decided to just give the light a try to see if it would help her back pain a little bit. Well, 3 weeks later, she was pregnant. So I'm not sure if there was a connection there, but there seems to be some pretty good evidence out there. It can help mitigate some of the underlying problems that are involved in pregnancy, as you well enough know how intricate it is for somebody to conceive. So many factors, and that can be on the end of the guys or on with the women. So I think that's about it. I want to wish everybody a upcoming Merry Christmas. May you get to know the real reason for the season, and I thank you for joining us. Sorry about those eyes that I have there. I'll put my glasses on. Don't look bad, but thank you for joining us, and I welcome you to tune in next week, where we'll have another event. And so thank you, and I hope many of you will report back into us how this light has been helpful to you, because it just helps people to understand that this is real. This is really neat technology, and we'd love to see it help you and your situation as well. So thank you, and thank you, Kirsten, for pulling this together. Thank you for those who spoke earlier and did the video, and for the different testimonies. Thank you. And mentioning, as Kirsten mentioned, this fantastic event that's coming up, or on, and it's also on demand.
Correct.
The GMA laser course, and you can learn all about how PBM can be used properly and make a difference in your, whether it's in your dental practice or at home. So, this is a great at-home device too to take with you, not only take home, but also take with you on your trips, because you never know what you might encounter out there. So this GMA laser education course, there's a $50 deduction, because additional $50 deduction because of watching this seminar. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you, Tom. And I wanted to let them know, for the dental clinicians interested in comprehensive training with GMA laser education, please go to the website. And we will also follow up with a promo code for all of you that attended. It will be a $50 promotional discount until midnight. And I am told by Dr. Ross, after the first of the year, the price for this course will be probably around $575. They're reformatting. And at $200, you won't ever touch this sort of training. It's 8 hours on demand. You can apply it towards standard level certification. You will get a syllabus, a training manual, if you will, of over 250 pages, and then access to the instructors. So it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I hope you'll take part in that. Thank you, Tom, for letting us be a part of this today, and reach out to us with any questions.
Yes, please email us with your questions. All the best, and Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.